It's here. This is a very historic moment for me as somebody who grew up with Nintendo consoles, but this is also the first time for Nintendo that they're pushing and marketing the specs and hardware of a console so vigorously. But I'm gonna open this with the person who put me on Nintendo consoles to begin with, and that is my grandma. She bought me the GBA SP back in 2005, and then now, literally 20 years later, here we are with the Switch 2.
This is showtime.
Yeah, just rip it open.
They wrap things really well these days because, you know, they don't cost just $2.50.
Oh, there she is. Oh, it's like a front box.
Isaac, you are really gonna enjoy this. Oh.
Ooh, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
Oh, it's bigger than you thought? Would that be the one?
So that's the screen. Ooh, okay. That's like the little controller thing.
Oh yeah, this is the controller. Gee, they package it up so neatly that, you know, everything is organized. And that's the plug-in. Mm-hmm. I'll take it out of the plastic. I have a feeling this is it, right?
Well, it's weird. It's like all in pieces.
Oh,
so that's the dock that you like plug it into to play on the TV.
Oh my gosh. Isn't this amazing? Can't do anything without a cord. Okay, so you don't have any instructions with it?
You're gonna need the screen. Here you go.
Take it out of the bag?
Yeah, you can do that. And then the two controllers. And that is literally it.
This was 20 years in the making.
That's
I'll
right.
have you know.
Ooh, doesn't it look good?
I think so.
Dang.
I do believe
It's pretty.
That's a nice size screen.
And then that's the controller.
It looks like a knife.
All right, so you pop the controller. It should just be a magnet that sticks in there.
On what end?
So the blue goes into the blue. Yeah, there you go. It should just slip in there. Oh!
Half my finger went in too. Oh my gosh, it's so well made.
I know.
Oh my gosh, Isaac.
Nintendo should pay you to say that, dude. That's crazy.
Yes. Oh, and this goes in the other end? I'll be darned. Is it the right?
Oh!
Oh, is that the button to?
Yeah, that's a thumbstick.
Oh. Can you believe that? It feels really cool.
Nice in the hands.
Yeah. Oh, yes, very much so.
So it goes into the dock. So if you want to plug it into the TV, it slides into it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you mean it comes charged already?
It should be charged a little bit. I don't know.
Well, nothing is happening. Oh, the volume.
Oh!
Oh, there it is, Nintendo. And where's the? Oh. So naturally, we're in English, and it comes in all these languages.
Yeah.
Now, what country makes these?
Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Mm-hmm. How's it sound? It's got a little soundtrack. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, you have to set the time? So is that run on batteries, the controller?
This just is like a plastic thing that the controllers plug into. And then it slots in there. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
The engineering that went into this is just like...
How do you know
now
to do
it's like
all
this.
that? Oh, wow. You know, back in the day, there weren't too many Isaacs. And now, there's even an Isaac on Jeopardy. Oh, is this the old one?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at how heavy it is.
It's smaller, huh?
Oh, what? Yeah, and that too, but what an improvement. So we're wireless.
Press that bad boy and let go.
Just once?
Try pressing it harder. Ooh.
And this is the beginning now.
This is it.
You're all set
Yep.
to go.
Oh, and there it is.
Well, that's pretty
cool,
nice.
huh?
Well, yeah. Super Smash Brothers. Is that Mario? Oh yeah, I see him in there. Oh, okay. Oh, and Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So now this is where you put the games in this little slot right here.
Let's see what the thing looks like. Just a little chip.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Very exciting.
You like it?
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's cool. I think they did a great
Yes.
job. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you buying this. I wouldn't have gotten to experience all of those like awesome memories and like playing video games. Like I cherish those memories like crazy.
I've got pictures of you on the couch. playing.
Yeah. Well, I'm serious. Like, thank you so much. I wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for you buying me those little games. And I love you very much.
I love you too, Eyes. And now let's get to the review.
Okay, now that we've got it in our hands, let's go ahead and talk hardware and first impressions. Right off the bat, this is clearly like a massive upgrade over the original Switch, whether that's the OLED or the, first or second version of the original model. This is not only bigger, but also just feels much more premium. The plastic used is fantastic. It doesn't get any fingerprints so far. Everything literally feels like just a step above whatever else we've known the Switch for. The bigger size, of course, makes things more comfortable, especially if you have medium to larger sized hands, and it just fits a lot more like a glove than the original Switch ever could. One of the biggest things that I'm looking for immediately is just how these new Joy-Cons feel, because the original Joy-Cons are so bad. I despise the original Joy-Cons, but thank goodness this is an actual upgrade. The buttons are just as clicky, but they don't get nearly as loud, and they don't get stuck like the original Joy-Cons did. Literally, as soon as I opened a brand new Joy-Con, the buttons would get stuck on the original model, and it would make this loud clicking, popping noise. I hated it. That's not the case for the Switch 2. These are clicky, but actually don't make that annoying noise and are much more smooth to press down. And then finally, one of the biggest design changes here and improvements is the way that the Joy-Cons actually slip into the device, and it's all done magnetically, and they just slot right in. It truly is just as satisfying as we have been hearing from everybody else who's had an early look at the Switch 2. It feels satisfying to have it slot back into the side of the screen, the noises it makes whenever it does that, and even whenever you release them, it feels like a clean, crisp experience and nothing that's too jagged or jarring whenever you try and pull it apart. I wish they were slightly heavier, and that would add to the premium build quality feeling if they just had a little bit more weight, man. And then, of course, the thumbsticks. My goodness, do we actually have working thumbsticks on a Nintendo Switch? It's truly an incredible feat. Okay, it took them almost a decade for them to finally get thumbsticks somewhat down. They don't have a huge range of motion, in my opinion. I feel like they are a little bit limited, but if we're comparing it to the original Switch, they feel so much more smooth. They don't have the craziest range of motion, and they don't stick out too much, which I feel like is definitely a downgrade if you compare it to like the Steam Deck sticks. But overall, this is a massive upgrade from the original Switch, which again is what we expect, but it's just nice to see it here on the device. Stick drift and the longevity of the device and of the Joy-Cons is not something that we're aware of right now, but from what I'm feeling, as long as you take care of your device, I can't see this being a huge issue unless there was like a major engineering issue or design flaw that Nintendo went with. Now, moving on to the actual UI and software, this is a big complaint that I had from the original Switch. I wanted the software experience and the UI to feel like classic Nintendo, to have some charm, to have some sound effects, some jingles, something to give it more personality, because the original Switch, while it was revolutionary, it felt very bland to me. And unfortunately, we don't have the biggest jump when it comes to the new UI and new software, the menu system. Everything looks relatively the same, and the sound effects, while have seen a couple of changes here and there, are still just as boring, in my opinion, as the first Switch. And Nintendo actually baited me upon setting the device up, because initially you hear this like cute little OST while you're getting everything set up and logging into your Nintendo account and all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, isn't that nice?
But then once you get to the main menu and you finish everything, all of the OST goes away, and then it's just crickets. Hopefully in the future, we just get some themes. That would fix everything. If we could choose what we wanted this to look like, and Nintendo's probably gonna put a price tag on it, but I think that would be well worth it if you're like me and want some dang OST back in your menu system. The first thing I wanted to do here was test out Breath of the Wild, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and see what it feels like in actual good, decent frame rate. And oh my, it's something. Smooth frame rate on this? No way. That feels wrong. Seeing Breath of the Wild run this way on original Nintendo hardware just brings me so much joy and so much satisfaction, and I think my wife and I are actually going to replay Breath of the Wild now that we've got the updated HD remaster for the Switch 2. We've got the updated HDR screen, which is not OLED, and a lot of people were complaining about that, but we'll get into some comparisons later on. But from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, this screen, even though it is not an OLED, absolutely does every single game I've played on it justice. The colors, the contrast, the blacks aren't as deep as the OLED, obviously, but it's a pretty close comparison, and the fact that we even have an LCD model that looks this good is wild to me. I also wanted to test out, of course, the GameCube games on Nintendo Switch Online, and these feel awesome. Playing original GameCube games on original Nintendo hardware makes me very happy as somebody who has so many retro handhelds and has gone through the setup process and has emulated these games before. Playing them now on original modern Nintendo hardware is just something different. I did notice though a little bit of input lag. I don't know if this is typical or usual here and other people are also going to experience it, but it felt slightly delayed when I was playing Wind Waker. I'm not sure if that's normal, but I guess only time will tell. But overall, the experience of playing games, whether it's Nintendo Switch Online or the updated Breath of the Wild or any other old Switch games that you want to pop in here, it will be top tier. But so far, the higher frame rate, the higher refresh rate on the screen whenever you're in handheld mode from playing like Breath of the Wild or Sonic Mania or whatever it is, does feel like you're getting a high-end PC handheld gaming experience. But the crazy part is that this is actually Nintendo hardware, which we've never really had. I've been a Nintendo kid my whole life, and I remember I would never buy a Nintendo console assuming we're getting higher end specs. I always just thought it was going to be very dated. And while this console and this handheld obviously is not to the power of a PS5, and it's more accurately described as somewhere in between like maybe a PS4, a little bit higher performance, I'd say, than a PS4. That's what a lot of the benchmarks have been showing. Getting that in a Nintendo console and also in a handheld form factor, it just feels like we're turning into a new chapter for the reputation of what a Nintendo console even is. Nintendo also just added this virtual game card system where now you have to eject your game on the original Switch before you play it on a different Switch. It's just weird. Also, like the EULA that you're signing away to Nintendo with some rights that they could potentially break your device if they want to, makes everything kind of up in the air now for what is true ownership, what is real video game ownership. And I hope that I can at least spread the idea that we should consider it and actually think about it. As much as I love the Switch 2 and think that this is going to be, you know, a huge milestone for Nintendo, there's also other things that are up in the air that we have to understand and see how things are changing here in the landscape. Compared to the Steam Deck OLED, the Steam Deck absolutely does blow it out of the water in terms of brightness. I feel like the Switch 2 doesn't get as bright as I honestly anticipated. It is an LCD panel, so the fact that we can even compare things is kind of crazy, but yeah, the Steam Deck is still the nicest screen I've ever seen in a handheld. Compared to the Steam Deck as well, it's a little bit less ergonomic, but that also means it's slightly more portable and slimmer, so it doesn't stick out and feel like a monster as much, which could be a positive or a negative. It depends. You know, if you want something that's extremely as comfortable as possible and also has the OLED screen, then the Steam Deck is probably the option for you, but then you don't get the option to play Nintendo games. And playing Nintendo games is really what it all comes down to when you buy a Nintendo system. So altogether for the Switch 2, I paid $486.20, which is just like... But Nintendo are now aware that you're paying for the power alongside the personality of something like the Switch 2. I do think it depends on the individual. Like if you're somebody who loves Nintendo and you lean more on the Nintendo side of the video game industry, then you will love the Switch 2 despite the luxurious price tag. I do think it will be worth it most likely to those types of people. But if you don't really fall on that side, then maybe the premium price tag is something that you'd want to wait on. But that's going to do it for my first impressions. I'm going to go ahead and mess with this thing for a week. I'm going to dabble in the software, see what we can do, see what this thing can actually run, how it feels to play games like Cyberpunk, more modern games. But I'll save, all of the nitty gritty details for the next video that I make on the Switch 2. Just wanted to get this quick video out. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. I post videos all the time. And yeah, I just appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.
Don't say too much, don't say too much. You trying to make plans with a plastic touch. I'ma hit you right back with a peace sign. I'm a sucker for the short, not a long time. Never drop plan A for the beat line. Even if